Imagine this: all the secrets of the universe, the records of the past, present, and future, are stored in a mysterious cosmic library. What if you could access these records? How would your life change? What truths would you uncover? The Akashic Records have been believed to exist in many ancient traditions and esoteric beliefs throughout history. Mystics and philosophers have long claimed that these records hold the blueprint of our souls, containing the wisdom of every thought, emotion, and event ever to occur. But is this just a myth, or could there be some truth to it? What matters isn't whether these records exist or not, but rather how we can access and benefit from them. The Akashic Records are not just about the past. They're also said to contain knowledge that can influence our future, revealing secrets of past lives, and even showing us how to change our destiny. Is it possible to truly understand the meaning of life? Can we access the knowledge of our past lives? Can we change our fate? These are not just abstract questions, they're keys to unlocking a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe around us. Let's step into this mystery together. If you're enjoying this exploration into the unknown, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on more deep dives into ancient secrets and hidden knowledge. Now, let's explore. What exactly are the Akashic Records? How have different cultures interpreted them throughout history? Is this universal library a literal place or something more abstract? Let's find out in the next section. So, what exactly are the Akashic Records? Picture them as a vast, universal library that contains every thought, emotion, and event that has ever taken place. These records aren't just an abstract concept. They are believed to be an energetic field, a cosmic database that holds the history of everything in the universe. From the most mundane moments to the most extraordinary events. The term Akasha is derived from the Sanskrit word for either spiritual space or even void. It's the idea that this knowledge exists in an unseen dimension, an all-encompassing field that records every experience, from the rise and fall of civilizations to individual actions and thoughts. The Akashic Records are thought to be a record of our soul's journey, containing every piece of information about our lives and the choices we've made. Different spiritual and philosophical traditions interpret these records in unique ways. In Hinduism, the Akashic Records are deeply embedded in the idea of karma and reincarnation. It's believed that by accessing these records, one can understand the lessons from past lives and gain insight into their current life path. Hindu sages have long taught that the universe is a vast, interconnected web, and the Akashic Records are the energy pattern that binds everything together. In Buddhism, the concept of a universal storehouse of knowledge aligns with the teachings of interconnectedness and the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. According to Buddhist philosophy, understanding and accessing the Akashic Records could help an individual break free from the cycles of suffering by offering profound spiritual insight. Meanwhile, Western esotericism has adopted the idea of the Akashic Records to explain the idea of a cosmic memory or divine intelligence. Theosophists like Madame Blavatsky and Rudolf Steiner emphasize the Akashic Records as a way to access universal knowledge and divine wisdom. Their teachings suggest that by tapping into these records, one can gain understanding of not only past lives, but also the spiritual evolution of humanity itself. One example of someone who allegedly tapped into the Akashic Records is Edgar Cayce, an American psychic and healer. In the early 20th century, Cayce claimed to have accessed the Akashic Records during his trance readings, providing insights on health, spirituality, and past lives. His readings left a lasting influence on spiritual and holistic practices, with many seeing his work as evidence of the existence of these cosmic records. But what exactly is it that makes these records so mysterious and compelling? How are they accessed? And can they truly offer us the answers to life's most profound questions? Next, we will dive into the origins of the Akashic Records, exploring the Sanskrit meaning of Akasha, how these ideas developed over time, and how figures like Madame Blavatsky, Rudolf Steiner, and Edgar Cayce shaped our understanding of this universal library. We will also look into the connections between the Akashic Records and ancient civilizations, such as Egypt and Atlantis, where similar concepts were believed to exist. Let's dive deeper into the origins of the Akashic Records, starting with the term itself. The word Akasha comes from Sanskrit meaning other or spiritual space. It is the essence of the universe, often described as the very fabric of reality that holds all knowledge. Akasha is seen as the spiritual ether, the space from which everything arises, and it is within this ether that the Akashic Records are believed to exist. In ancient Hinduism, the concept of Akasha is deeply rooted in the understanding of the cosmos as a fluid, ever-changing reality. In many texts, Akasha is considered the primordial substance from which the material world emanates, and it holds the energetic imprints of all life's experiences. The belief is that these imprints are recorded in a non-physical plane, where the events of the universe are eternally preserved. This aligns with the idea that the Akashic Records are more than just memories, they're the very blueprint of existence. The Theosophical movement in the late 19th and early 20th centuries further developed this idea, particularly through the works of Madame Blavatsky and Rudolf Steiner. Blavatsky, one of the founders of Theosophy, argued that the Akashic Records are an integral part of humanity's spiritual evolution, providing access to hidden wisdom. She suggested that by accessing these records, individuals could better understand their karmic path and past lives. Steiner, a key figure in spiritual science, also integrated Akashic Records into his teachings on the evolution of consciousness, asserting that this universal knowledge could be accessed by those with advanced spiritual insight. One of the most intriguing figures in modern spiritualism who claimed to access the Akashic Records was Edgar Cayce, the American psychic often referred to as the Sleeping Prophet. Cayce's trance readings, which were often based on his alleged access to the Akashic Records, provided profound insights into health, past lives, and even prophecies. Many of Cayce's followers believe that his ability to tap into this vast library of knowledge was proof of the existence of the Akashic Records, and his readings have influenced holistic medicine, spiritual healing, and the search for life's deeper meaning. Interestingly, the idea of the Akashic Records isn't confined to Eastern traditions or modern spiritual movements. Ancient civilizations also seem to hold similar beliefs in a universal library of knowledge. In ancient Egypt, the Book of the Dead was believed to contain the records of a soul's journey, offering a glimpse into a higher, divine knowledge that was accessible to the initiated. Similarly, in the mystical traditions of Atlantis, there are claims that this advanced civilization had access to a higher plane of knowledge, often associated with the Akashic Records. The connections between these ancient systems and the Akashic Records suggest that the idea of a universal storehouse of knowledge has been present for millennia, crossing cultures and civilizations. So, what does all of this mean for us today? Can we still tap into these ancient records of wisdom? And if so, how does this access change our understanding of our lives and our place in the universe? In the next section, we will explore how one can access the Akashic Records. We'll discuss meditation techniques, the role of lucid dreaming and astral projection, and how deep trance states and psychic abilities can help you unlock this cosmic library. Now that we've explored the origins and historical significance of the Akashic Records, let's dive into the practical aspect. How can we access this vast, universal library of knowledge? The process of accessing the Akashic Records is often described as a spiritual journey, requiring a higher state of consciousness. One of the most common methods for accessing these records is through meditation. Meditation helps us quiet the mind, allowing us to attune our awareness to the subtle energies that are said to connect all things. It is believed that by entering a deep, meditative state, we can bypass the distractions of the physical world and access the energetic imprint of all that has occurred in the past, present, and future. To begin, there are specific meditative techniques that can help elevate your consciousness. One such method is the use of mantras, repeated sounds, or words that help focus the mind. Another technique involves visualization, where practitioners imagine themselves traveling to a spiritual realm or accessing a metaphysical library where the records are stored. Lucid dreaming and astral projection are also powerful tools often linked to Akashic Records access. Lucid dreaming, where the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming and can control the dream, provides a unique opportunity to explore the subconscious mind. Some practitioners claim that lucid dreaming opens the door to the Akashic Records, allowing them to explore past lives or gain insight into life's bigger questions. Similarly, astral projection, the act of separating one's consciousness from the physical body, can be used to travel through different planes of existence. During these out-of-body experiences, some individuals report entering a realm where they can access information stored in the Akashic Records. Another powerful method of accessing these records involves entering a deep trance state. Trance states are often induced through breathing techniques or the use of rhythmic sounds, such as drumming or chanting, which help to bring the mind into a state of heightened awareness. In this state, individuals may be able to receive psychic insights or connect with spiritual guides who can assist them in accessing the Akashic Records. Along with trance, psychic abilities also play a role in accessing the Akashic Records. Some people have heightened intuitive abilities, such as clairvoyance, seeing beyond the physical realm, or clairaudience, hearing messages from beyond. These psychic gifts can help individuals tap into the Akashic Records, allowing them to receive visions, messages, or guidance related to their soul's journey. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of accessing the Akashic Records is the connection to the subconscious mind. The subconscious is thought to hold vast amounts of information that we are not consciously aware of. Yet it influences our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. By learning to communicate with the subconscious, we may unlock the knowledge stored in the Akashic Records. Some suggest that the subconscious acts as a bridge, linking the physical mind with the spiritual realm, providing us access to the hidden knowledge of the universe. Ultimately, accessing the Akashic Records is not about finding something new. It's about remembering what is already within us, the knowledge of our true selves and our connection to the universe. The records are not a foreign entity, but rather a part of who we are, existing within our consciousness, waiting to be unlocked. In the next section, we will take a closer look at the scientific perspective of the Akashic Records. Are they truly real, or is it all just a myth? We'll explore connections to quantum physics, collective consciousness theories, and holographic universe concepts, as well as insights from prominent thinkers like Carl Jung. After exploring the spiritual practices associated with the Akashic Records, it's time to examine them from a more scientific perspective. Are the Akashic Records merely a product of human imagination, or is there a legitimate, underlying phenomenon at play? Let's dive into the connections between quantum physics, collective consciousness, and the scientific theories that some believe may explain the existence of the Akashic Records. One of the most compelling theories comes from quantum physics. The concept of a holographic universe has gained attention in recent years, suggesting that the entire universe is like a hologram, with every part containing the information of the whole. Some researchers draw parallels between the Akashic Records and the holographic principle, which proposes that all information about our universe is stored on a two-dimensional surface but can be projected into three-dimensional space. This idea, proposed by physicist David Bohm, suggests that the universe is interconnected and that consciousness not be confined to the physical brain. Some theorists argue that the Akashic Records are essentially the cosmic database that stores all the information of the universe, akin to this holographic model. Additionally, collective consciousness, the idea that human consciousness is shared and interconnected, has been discussed by thinkers such as Carl Jung, who coined the term collective unconscious. According to Jung, humans share a deep, unconscious connection where memories, experiences, and archetypes are stored across all individuals. This shared pool of knowledge could potentially explain the Akashic Records, as they may be a reflection of this universal mind that exists beyond the individual. The connection between personal experience and collective knowledge, then, might be accessed through the Akashic Records, allowing us to tap into this broader stream of wisdom. Jung's ideas about the collective unconscious resonate with the Akashic Records contain not just individual memories or experiences, but also universal wisdom, carrying information across generations, civilizations, and even species. But is there any evidence to back this up? Can the Akashic Records be proven in the way that scientific theories can? Some modern-day scientists even suggest that the Akashic Records may be an extension of human consciousness itself, just as our bodies are extensions of our minds. For example, Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist and author, has proposed the idea of morphic fields, where the memory of past experiences is encoded in the universe and can influence future events. Sheldrake's theory suggests that the collective experiences of organisms, including humans, leave a non-material imprint on the environment, which could explain the concept of Akashic Records as a repository of universal knowledge. On the other hand, skeptics argue that there is no empirical evidence to support the existence of the Akashic Records as a tangible or scientifically verifiable phenomenon. They claim that the idea of a cosmic library is simply a metaphor or mythological construct, designed to explain the unexplainable. Despite the ongoing debate, one thing remains clear: the Akashic Records continue to inspire both spiritual seekers and scientists alike. Whether they are seen as a mystical truth or a fascinating metaphor, they invite us to explore the deepest questions about the nature of reality, consciousness, and our place in the universe. As we move forward, we will explore the ethical implications of accessing the Akashic Records, including the potential dangers of delving too deeply into one's past and the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. In the next section, we'll look into the psychological impact and the ethical considerations of accessing this profound, hidden knowledge. In the next chapter, we'll discuss the potential dangers and ethical dilemmas surrounding the Akashic Records. What are the psychological consequences of exploring your past lives? How can the records be misused? And what precautions should we take when accessing them? As we've delved into the mysticism and scientific theories surrounding the Akashic Records, it's time to confront the potential dangers and ethical dilemmas associated with accessing such a profound and powerful source of knowledge. While the Akashic Records are often portrayed as a sacred repository of wisdom and truth, there are several psychological and moral concerns that must be considered before attempting to access this divine archive. Psychological impact of exploring personal past. One of the most significant risks of exploring the Akashic Records is the psychological impact it can have on the individual. The records are said to contain the detailed history of one's past lives, personal experiences, and even the collective experiences of the soul. While this might sound appealing to those seeking answers about their true nature or purpose in life, the process of uncovering deeply buried memories and emotions can be overwhelming. For instance, accessing traumatic events from past lives may lead to emotional distress or psychological discomfort. The resurfacing of unresolved issues could create feelings of anxiety, confusion, or despair, especially if the individual is unprepared for such revelations. In some cases, it may lead to existential crises, as the person may struggle to reconcile their present life with the weight of past experiences. Moreover, without proper guidance or understanding, one may misinterpret what they discover, leading to feelings of disconnection or loss of identity. The Akashic Records are often seen as a tool for self-discovery, but accessing them without the right mental preparation could have a significant negative impact on one's sense of self. Manipulation and ethical concerns. The Akashic Records are often described as a sacred space that should be approached with respect, reverence, and care. However, there is an inherent risk that the information contained within the records could be manipulated. Throughout history, individuals have sought to exploit spiritual knowledge for personal gain, power, or influence. Could the Akashic Records be used in similar ways? In the hands of those without proper understanding or ethical consideration, the information within the records could be distorted or misused. For example, someone could potentially access a distorted view of past events, then use that information to manipulate others' decisions, relationships, or even spiritual practices. This brings us to a crucial question. What ethical guidelines should govern access to the Akashic Records? Many spiritual traditions assert that the Akashic Records are only accessible to those who have reached a certain level of spiritual maturity. In other words, it's not just about having the ability to access the records, but also about being spiritually ready to handle the profound knowledge they contain. Those who are mentally and emotionally prepared to navigate the depths of the Akashic Records are believed to possess a certain level of wisdom and understanding that allows them to handle the information with integrity and responsibility. The idea of being ready to access the records, according to some esoteric teachings, only those who are ready, meaning those who are spiritually and emotionally mature, can truly access the Akashic Records. This concept raises an interesting question. Who decides if we are ready? And what does it mean to be ready? The idea suggests that the knowledge contained in the Akashic Records isn't for everyone. It might be too overwhelming for some, or too dangerous for others to confront at certain stages of their spiritual journey. Is there a way to know if you're truly ready for such an intimate exploration of your soul's history? Can anyone, at any time, access the Akashic Records? Or are there deeper cosmic laws at play here, protecting the sanctity of this divine library? In the next section, we will dive deeper into the scientific and metaphysical debates surrounding the accessibility of the Akashic Records. Can they be accessed by everyone? Or are they, as some believe, only available to a select few? And what does it mean if the records are, in fact, a metaphor for the mysteries of life and the cosmos itself? In the next chapter, we'll tackle the ultimate question: can we truly access the Akashic Records? Are they a tangible source of knowledge, or simply a metaphor for the deepest mysteries of existence? Let's reflect on the possibility. If you had access to all the knowledge of the universe, how would you use it? As we reach the final chapter of our exploration into the Akashic Records, the fundamental question arises: can we truly access the Akashic Records? Are these ancient, cosmic archives available to every individual, or are they reserved for a select few? Esoteric teachings: who can access the records? Throughout esoteric teachings and spiritual traditions, there's a prevalent belief that the Akashic Records are not just accessible to anyone at any time. Spiritual maturity, readiness, and a deep connection to one's higher self are often emphasized as key prerequisites for accessing these universal records. But is that truly the case? Many traditions assert that only those who are spiritually attuned or have achieved a certain level of consciousness are capable of accessing these records without being overwhelmed or harmed by the vastness of the information they contain. Or it's not just about having the ability to access them. It's about being able to properly interpret and understand the knowledge contained within. If everyone could access the Akashic Records, would they be able to handle the weight of such profound wisdom? Or would it, as some fear, cause chaos and confusion? However, there are other perspectives suggesting that the Akashic Records are not necessarily something we physically access, but rather a metaphorical space, a representation of the collective consciousness, the knowledge of the universe. In this sense, accessing the records could be seen as unlocking the deepest parts of our own minds and souls, tapping into a higher state of awareness that's already available within us. Are the Akashic Records just a metaphor? Could it be that the Akashic Records are not a literal library in the sky, but a metaphor for the knowledge and wisdom that is encoded within the very fabric of the universe? Some philosophers and spiritual teachers suggest that the records represent an archetype or symbol for the deeper truths of existence, truths that may not be found in physical books or scrolls, but within the very structure of the universe itself. In this view, accessing the Akashic Records is less about physical entry and more about a shift in consciousness, a movement from the mundane to the transcendent, where we are able to perceive the interconnectedness of all things. This perspective raises the question: are we all capable of accessing these records at any moment through deeper self-awareness and spiritual practice? The final question: if you could access all the knowledge of the universe, how would you use it? As we close this journey through the Akashic Records, it's time to ask you, the viewer, if you had the ability to access the entirety of the universe's knowledge, how would you use it? Would you seek answers to the mysteries of your life? Would you look to the past to understand who you were and how your soul has evolved? Or would you focus on the future, exploring the potential paths your soul could take in the ever-expanding universe? The question is open-ended, and it invites deep reflection on how knowledge, power, and responsibility are intertwined. The Akashic Records might be more than just a mystery. They could be a reflection of our own potential. What would you do with the infinite wisdom of the universe? Now that we've explored the profound mysteries of the Akashic Records, I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Akashic Records are truly accessible to everyone? Or do you think they are reserved for a chosen few? Do you see them as a literal source of knowledge? Or are they just a powerful metaphor for the universe's hidden wisdom? I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into mystical, esoteric, and spiritual topics like the Akashic Records. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and always seek the deeper truth.